Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. So, Assassin's audiobook is finally out! Yay! So if you haven't already, last week I did the entire vlog series after I chose the new narrator and he got the recordings back to me. So at the time I was so stressed I didn't actually record the process of like the original narrator, which I hired in October of 2022. I was actually doing other vlogs back in 2022 that I've never released that are just, I didn't categorize them and it was just my work in general toward the end of 2022. And so because I didn't organize them, I haven't released them yet because I was doing so many projects, including the audiobooks for the Valiant series. So sometime I may release that. But either way, October 2022, fast forward to December of 2023, last year I was working on Immortal, editing it for round one, which that's a vlog, I'll post that here as a card as well. And the narrator quit on me. He had recorded the whole audiobook of Assassin and couldn't do the edits, so it was either release an audiobook riddled with mistakes or start over, and I started over. And that's when I found Brandon, hired him, he is amazing. And then after I hired Brandon, he recorded the whole audiobook, and then that's when I started the vlog process that you guys have watched last week, and it's out, so I wanted to celebrate, so let's get right into it. So basically the vlog from last week started when Brandon got the recordings back to me, and I had to go through them all, make sure they were good, sent it back to him, and then he got the recordings back that were fixed, so I checked to make sure all the mistakes were fixed, and there were still a few more, so I sent it back to him, he fixed those, and then I went through them. And it's released, yay! And then I had to submit it, and the ACX took 10 days to submit it, to, you know, actually put it up. And so it's up, and it's out, and it's a long time coming, so Assassin's audiobook is out. I'll have a link in the description below, so go buy the audiobook. You're not just supporting me, you're supporting Brandon, because we did royalty share like I did with all the other narrators so far, and he deserves to be paid for his work, so he gets a split from the royalty, and that's how he's getting paid for doing all of this work. Like, you guys, like, it's so much work to do an audiobook. It is so much work. But because of all of this, I started this audiobook process in October of 2022, and it is now October of 2024. So it's 2 years. And I'm so pumped because it seems super fitting that it's 2 years in the making, and I want to do a huge celebration. So this video is just for fun. Go check out the audiobook. I'll maybe play a snippet with some, so stick to the end of the video because I'll put some audio with the special artwork that I had an artist called Lucas Santiago design, so shout out to Lucas. So I'll put some audio, and I may even do some music and sound effects, and we'll have Brandon narrating, we'll have Lucas Santiago's art on the screen, and it'll feel like a movie. So stick to the end, you don't want to miss that. But between now and then, I had a fun little thing we're going to do. So I'm a huge fan of Assassin's Creed. I've actually got all the... No, wait, I thought I had all the books over here on my shelf, but they're blocked. Assassin's Creed video games, I have played all of them until a certain point, and then I stopped playing them. So I haven't played Unity. I need to play Unity, and I think there's a few that I haven't played. That's like the France one, I started playing it, never finished it, and then the one with, the like industrial one, I don't remember what that's even called, so I don't remember that one. And then I've never played Valhalla, but I've played Assassin's Creed, the first one, and then Ezio's 3. I've played Connors, which is Assassin's Creed 3, and Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Rogue. I have played Assassin's Creed Origin and Odyssey. So yeah, I love Assassin's Creed. I've read all the books up to Assassin's Creed Black Flag, or episode, I read the third one. So I'm a fan of the books too, and I thought, well, Assassin, my book, was inspired kind of like a mixture of Assassin's Creed mixed with Star Wars Episode 2, but like with a better romance, and medieval style, like a Skyrim world. It feels very Skyrim-y, so it's like Skyrim and the Dark Brotherhood mixed with Assassin's Creed mixed with Star Wars Episode 2, but with a better romance to it. And it's so swoony and it's action-packed, and so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna rank all the assassins. So obviously these won't have Aidan in there, my character from Assassin, but Aidan's gonna be top S tier all the time. So I wanted to do a tier list because I haven't done a tier list in a couple years, so I'm excited. And then I may rate the games, so we're gonna check out and see if they have all of the characters, like all of the main assassin characters. I am uploading a YouTube video while this is going on, so my internet may be slow. Hopefully this works. I also have some hot chocolate because it's October, so it's fall. It's officially hot chocolate season. Same thing, S tier is the best, F tier is the worst, for those of you who've never seen me do these before. Alright, let's get this done. So obviously, Aidan is my character, so I'm going to put him in S tier because I wrote him. So I'm biased, but he's the best in my opinion. And to be fair, whenever the Valiant series went big on Wattpad, Assassin was the one that got featured, so that one was the one that blew up first and caused the rest of the series to blow up, and it was the fan favorite other than Shifter, but Shifter was more the fan favorite because everybody loved Barone in Shifter, whereas in Assassin, the book itself was like, I noticed people just loved it so much more, and they loved Aidan, and they kept asking me more Aidan, more Aidan, more Aidan, and at the time I didn't really care for the book. It was just a book that I wrote, and I didn't really love it until I first listened to the audiobook with Ethan and then again with Brandon, and now I get it. I love the book as well, so like I'm a fan of the book as well as the writer, which is interesting because sometimes you can write books that you don't really like, you cared about it at the time, but then you just don't care anymore. And so that's kind of what happened with Assassin. So Aidan was actually a legit fan favorite among the thousands of readers that did read it on Wattpad. So there is evidence to support that he is an S tier character. And I don't have a picture of him. I hope maybe I can pop one up on the screen or something, but I'll be scrolling. So anyways, Aidan, definitely S tier. So Aidan from Assassin, again, link will be in the description below. You guys are going to love the audiobook. Go check it out. Buy it and support Brandon and support me. And if you don't have Audible, they usually have like a free trial or a cheap like version of it, so you can usually get a free trial and 1 credit. Audible, if you want to sponsor me, please. I am obsessed, and I just bought so many credits, and I have a Plus membership, so if you want to sponsor me, please do. Alright, so first of all, Desmond. So Desmond is in the first 3 or 4, wait, how many are there? The original Assassin's Creed, and then Ezio's 3, and then Connor's. So he's in the first 5, and he's the main modern day character. So essentially, for those of you who've never played Assassin's Creed, by the way, disclaimer, if you've never seen Assassin's Creed, don't worry, you're still gonna have fun. Alright, we're gonna have a blast here. But anyways, so for those of you who've never seen or played Assassin's Creed, the modern day, like, he gets captured by this organization that made this machine called the Animus, and you go in the Animus and it takes you through your ancestors' memories, and you actually move and fight and live and exist within that ancestor. And so he's been captured by this organization, and there's this whole plot line with that, and he's going back into his ancestors' memories to like find these artifacts that were hidden back in the day in these historical time periods that the organization in the present day wants. So that's the main plot. Subplot is that there's this war that's been going on in secret between the Assassins and the Templars. The Assassins are good, the Templars are bad. That's how it's always been portrayed, contrary to anything else that may have been added to the franchise. So the Templars is who I think captured Desmond. It's been a long time since I played the game, but it's so intriguing. If you're a history buff and a video game player, or if you're not a video game player, you're gonna love these games anyway. I've heard of family members who've never played video games like actually do enjoy the game. So anyways, so that's basically the premise of the original ones. So basically the first one is like his oldest ancient ancestor in the Middle East, in the Crusades, and then that's the game that started the whole franchise. And then Ezio Auditore da Firenze is in the Renaissance in Italy, and so Ezio had 3 games, so Ezio is like the GOAT, okay? He is like the biggest, baddest assassin, the favorite, and then Ezio on down the line got linked to this man named Haytham Kenway, who became a Templar. Haytham has a son named Connor Kenway, who was an assassin. So that's the 3rd game, Assassin's Creed 3. And then Haytham's father, Edward Kenway, for Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, we go back to Haytham's father, Edward, during the time of the pirates. And I think at the time this would have been the French and Indian War, but it was like more pirate stuff instead of the French and Indian War. And then Edward's son Haytham became a Templar and fought for the British in the American Revolution. And then Connor, he married a Native American, well, he didn't marry, but he had a son with a Native American woman, and they had a son named Connor who lived with the Native Americans and grew up like that, and he ended up becoming a Templar who fought on the side of the Americans in the American Revolution. So that's kind of the family history. This is Desmond's ancestors. So you kind of learn that. And then due to events in the third one, the main protagonist in the modern times changes, and the storyline doesn't really exist, and it gets really stupid, and it kind of shifted focus to the history. But anyway, so Desmond is the main character of the franchise. Fight me in the comments. He was originally like the intended main character, the modern day storyline. That's who it intended. Me personally, I always hated the modern day storylines, and I would rush through Desmond's stuff to get back to the history, and it was nothing against Desmond, and honestly, the modern day storylines had some pretty intriguing plot lines to it, but I loved the history so much. I'm like, I want to go back. Like, I want to go back to the history stuff. Like, get me through this, please. And so, for me, I would say Desmond is actually a B tier character for me. He's not bad. He's not good or amazing, but he's just an average character, and you guys know me, I'm a sucker for, like, a guy who's imprisoned, enslaved, experimented on, captured, tortured. I mean, look at my books. You really have to ask. Like, I'm pretty sure I did a storyline similar to this, but not with, like, an animus and going in history and stuff. It is what it is. So next we have Altair. Now Altair is the original assassin. He was in Assassin's Creed, the first game, which as far as I know, it didn't do well. Like the Assassin's Creed, I thought it blew up more with Ezio, which was the second one, and Ezio and the Renaissance and all that, it blew the game up, and like that's when it became famous. Altair, I kind of like what he represents, and so for me, and I think in the original game, it's old. It's an old game at this point. I feel so old. Oh, but the graphics were, like, now in comparison, they are old graphics, and so at the time it was, like, the original conceptualization of the game, and so Altair looked a lot like Desmond. Like, he didn't really when you go in the Animus and you go into the history, the ancestor, it looked like Desmond. They didn't, and as far as I remember, they didn't really have Altair have his own kind of appearance looking thing other than his outfit, and anyway, I can't really see, so I assume that's Altair. So for me, Altair didn't really have a set personality, really, like he did, but I think he's going to be a little less than Desmond. Probably, I want to say one more that, I don't know. See, because he had one game, whereas Desmond was the modern day storyline for like 5 games, so I had more time to get attached to Desmond, whereas I only had Altair for 1 game, and then he's like gone. So I think I'm going to put him below with Desmond. He's not a bad character. He's not a good character. To me, he's B. He's average. Connor! Y'all know me. First of all, I'm a sucker for Native Americans. I love the American Revolution, so that's one of my favorite plot lines. One of my favorite historical time periods, other than, the Boshin War in Japan in the 1860s and the Native Americans in the 1870s. American Revolution's like my thing, and I love Native Americans in general. I've been a fan, like a passion for their people and culture, like the different tribes and stuff, since I was a little girl. So to actually get to play an Native American character in this game was like, I loved it. And yes, everybody loves Ezio. Ezio is the GOAT. He's the fan favorite. I know that. I'm just a sucker for Connor. I'm a Connor girl. I will always be a Connor girl. This game blew me away so much. Like, I'm almost in tears. I'm emotional right now. But, I don't know. Assassin's Creed 3 was just so special to me. It has a very special place in my heart. I loved it. And I replayed it multiple times. I've still never managed to play it perfectly. Because in the game, you do the main mission, and then there's, like, bonus. Like, each mission comes with, like, this own side things that, like, achievements, I guess you could call it, to, like, play the game perfectly without making a mistake, basically. Never managed to do that, but I made it about halfway through perfectly. But it's just, Connor is an amazing character, and his story is so heart-wrenching. The conflict between him and his father, like, his father, Haytham, is a Templar. He is an assassin. They're on opposite sides in this war. Haytham as a Templar siding with the British. Connor as an assassin is siding with the Americans, because at the time he thinks that's best for his people, which is tragic when you think about it, because it wasn't in the end, which you don't see in the game, but historically And then on top of that, you get to meet all these historical characters that help bring our country together, and you get to participate in major events, and it's just, for a history buff who loves the American Revolution, like, Assassin's Creed 3 is everything, and so Connor is everything, and I love his character, and he goes through so much, and I love the plot line. I don't know who, I think this is Edward. Why are we only seeing their outfits? I'm a sucker for a pirate and a rogue. Like, I can't help but, like, love Edward. I think this is Edward. So if I'm getting any of these wrong, let me know in the comments below. That may not be Edward. Some of these I, like, don't... No, this is Edward. Hold on a minute. I don't know who this is, but I know this is Haytham. So Haytham, for me, before I get to Edward, Haytham is Connor's father. He's a Templar. He's a bad guy. And episode 3 is different because you start off playing Haytham. So one, it's the first time we ever played on the side of the Templars, which was new. And 2, for me, it dragged on too long, and it takes forever to get through the beginning part and get to Connor's perspective. And at the time, I didn't know Connor, so I wasn't just like, okay, I want to get to my favorite guy Native American character because I have a crush on him. Like, no, like, it kind of takes a while to set the story up, and it makes it slow. And I've heard a lot of people, like, in my life that started playing the game, like, that slowed them down. Like, my husband doesn't really care for it because it took him, he never really made it it was really slow. And so, but Haytham's character, he's a bad guy. I feel like he's a really good written bad guy, so we're talking well written and really good antagonist. Then I would put him in the S tier. But as a character itself, I hate what happens. I hate how he treats Connor, and so for me, he's like a C character. But again, S tier for being well written. Edward, I'm a sucker for a pirate and a rogue, and that's what he is. He loves to drink and pirate and just sail the 7 seas and, like, you know, attack everything, and I love Edward. And again, it's ironic because Edward is an assassin. He kind of gets, I don't remember the plot line in detail, but he gets roped in with the assassin, so he's a pirate first, kind of a rogue character first, and then he becomes an assassin. And then he has a son named Haytham, and Haytham becomes a Templar. And so the storyline there is interesting. Like, I feel like there's more to that. And then of course he has Connor with a Native American woman, and Connor becomes a Templar, so it's full circle. But I love the Kenway family, like these 3, like the Kenways, yeah, good family. All right, I don't know who that is. That may be Haytham's woman, which if that's the case, she's about like him. We didn't have much time with her. I thought that was Edward, but I don't know who that is. Why are we not seeing the faces? It doesn't make sense to me. Now I can see their faces. All right, here we go. Some of them are comic books. I don't know what's going on there. So this is Edward. So we already talked about him. He's S tier. This is, where did I see Desmond? Well, there's Haytham. So like I said, he's a C tier for me. I saw Desmond just like a second ago. Oh my gosh. Where did Desmond go? There's Altair. So like I said, Altair, B tier. If I can find, oh, this Connor. So Connor is going to be number 1 for me. And then Desmond, because I'm not going to make you guys re-listen to my babbling. Where the heck is Desmond? I saw him again, and I lost him. He's got to be here somewhere. Am I, like, overlooking him? You guys are probably going to laugh at me, like, there he is. Alright, so Desmond, B tier character for me. Alright, next. So some of these people I think are from the French Revolution one. No. Yeah. One of them, Unity, I think it is, that I've never played before. I think this is Ezio from Brotherhood. So for me, he's an S tier character. I love Ezio. I feel like Ezio in Brotherhood and his third one is like S tier Ezio. I feel like the first one, I haven't played the games in so long, I don't remember. I remember the third one because it actually connected back to Altair, and it felt like full circle, and it was so nostalgic that I remember that one. And then I remember Brotherhood because that's one where you're really building back the Assassin Order. So I don't remember Ezio's first game actually well. So for me, and that was like young him becoming an assassin and like getting into the situation and training and learning, so it's like younger Ezio. So I feel like that Ezio, if we're doing different timelines of Ezio, his first game would be, his first game version, young self, would be A tier, so he's an amazing character. Not as great, not S tier worthy. I feel like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood Ezio, and then old Ezio, where he's like an old hardened assassin who is like this epic guy who cannot be defeated in combat and stuff. I feel like that's S tier Ezio for me as well. And I would say that older Ezio for me is like just above mid-aged Ezio in Brotherhood, so his final game self would be above this Ezio. But I don't think we have that. So I'm just gonna do this one because I recognize him. This is oh my god, this is from Odyssey. I know his name. Could just give me a minute. It's Alexios, I think, from Odyssey. So Alexios is another S tier character. So it'd been a while since I played a game in Assassin's Creed that I loved. Like, Origins was okay. Bayek, nah. I mean, he was kind of like Altair for me, except he actually had like a personality and like a story, and it was ancient Egypt, so it was pretty fun. But I was kind of like meh with the new concepts, and the games had changed so much that when we did Alexios, I hated a lot of the game mechanics, and there's a lot about Odyssey that I could rant about. But Alexios, his character and his storyline, to me got back to the concept of the Assassin's Creed male characters, because they all have these really horrible, tragic stories that I'm a sucker for, and it pushes them into the plot line with the assassins. And that to me is kind of like a root of the main characters. Like, there was no assassins in this game, so the game itself, like the plot line, is not Assassin's Creed, which is sad, but the concept of what he goes through and his whole backstory, and then you add in the DLC content, and for me, Alexios, he's Assassin's Creed main protagonist material, and that's why he's S tier. And yeah, I'm gonna say I like Edward less than Edward is great. He's a pirate. His story is not as, I would say, not quite as tragic as Alexios. So for me, Alexios is like near and dear to my heart, and then I get to play him, so it's fine. So yeah, Connor, Ezio, Alexios, Edward. That's my list in S tier so far. And again, I didn't like Odyssey as a game, and I hated the game mechanics, and there's a lot that I didn't like about the game, but Alexios as a character with his story and his personality, I loved. And to me, he should have been the main character. I don't like the female character being the main character in the book, which is horrible. And so in that one, you can choose male or female character, and they're brother and sister, and so it's like him or his sister, and one of them ends up bad, one of them ends up good. The cat scared me. Stop that. And so in the book, they went with the female being the main character, and so Alexios, that makes him the bad guy, and I played through it with Alexios as the main character, and he has such a tragic backstory, it fits him better. I thought the sister was an amazing villain and antagonist, I mean. So I didn't like that. But Alexios will always be the main character of Odyssey for me. Fight me in the comments if you want. So I don't recognize this dude. I think he's the main character in, I want to say he's one of the characters in is it Valhalla? Who pops in, and then we get his story in the newest one that just came out, which is, what was it, Persia? I don't know. I haven't played that stuff. So this is Alexios' sister, Demos, and to me she's a really good villain. I would say I still liked Hate Them better just because it's like I'm attached to it, but she was a really good villain for me. So well written. So for me, as written, they would be S tier level of writing, but as a character, like, she was an antagonist and I hated her, which is the goal. So yeah, these guys are all from Unity, I think. And then there's another one that's like French Revolution. I don't know who that one is. I don't know what these comic book ones are. And then, yeah, I think this is about the extent of my knowledge here. I know she's from Liberation. I've never played that. I don't know where Bayek is. I feel like we need Bayek in here somewhere. So that's Bayek's wife. I'm not seeing Bayek in here anywhere. So she was a legit C tier character for me. I didn't really care about her. I like sympathized with her, but I just kind of like was just meh with her. I'm not seeing Bayek. Like, where the heck is Bayek, yo? Is that Bayek? I'm gonna roll with that's Bayek. And so he was like, He was if this is Bayek, he's a B tier assassin for me. If this is the one from Valhalla or the Persia one, then he's D tier because I haven't played his games. So I'm just going to roll with that's Bayek. And this is the movie. We're going to put that in D tier. He was a terrible Desmond. And yeah, that's all I know. I don't know anybody else. Again, I know this is from Unity, and I'm really intrigued. I just haven't played the game yet, and there's a few other guys from Unity in here. I think there's a few more from Brotherhood. Like this guy is from Brotherhood, and this guy's from Brotherhood. I don't remember them very well, so they're S tier or C tier for me. Not that they're bad, but because for me, F tier is legitimately bad. C tier is still good. It's just a little bit below average, or just I'm meh about it. I think this may be the guy from the French Revolution, and if I'm getting this all wrong, y'all can laugh at me, but I think these are more guys from... See, I've actually played Brotherhood, so I'm going to put the Brotherhood guys ahead of the Unity guys. And I think these are all from Unity. I have no idea. This may be the one with the brother and sister that's the industrial one, which I've tried to play, but I just couldn't get into it. So yeah, and then Liberation I've never played before either. So I think I'm at the extent of what I know. I recognize this guy. I think he might have been from Origin, so I remember I didn't really care for him, or he was kind of meh to me. Is she the sister from the industrial one? I have to put them above Liberation because I've never played Liberation. I've technically played him, so he's above Liberation, but I really didn't care for these two people all that much. But I haven't really given that game too much of a chance. And I think that is literally the extent of what I know. I've said that before, but like I literally think that's it. So, yep. So these are all the Assassin's characters for me. Keep in mind that Aidan would be the top here from my book Assassin. So yay. But yeah, Connor and Ezio and Alexios and Edward are the best Assassin's characters for me. I still liked Desmond, Altair, and Bayek, if that's indeed Bayek. And then Haytham is one of the main antagonists that I remember the most. Charles Lee is another one from Assassin's Creed 3. Demos, the sister from Assassin's Creed Odyssey, was a really good one as well. So yeah, these are all... this is my Assassin's Creed character tier list. I hope you've enjoyed this video. And now let's go rank the Assassin's Creed games. So this is going to be fun. All Assassin's Creed games. Okay. And hopefully I can get this done before my husband comes home. So I guess these have different one, but they have a not played category, so it's going to be perfect. Alright, so first up, coming up, we have Assassin's Creed and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. So those are Ezio's first game, second game. I'm going to say Assassin's Creed is very good. I'm going to say Brotherhood is one of the GOAT ones. Assassin's Creed Road is good. This is the original Assassin's Creed. I'm going to say good, but I'm probably going to lessen that one to it's okay, because now if I tried to play it again, the game mechanics and the graphics would just really throw me off because it's the original. Assassin's Creed 3 stands the test of time and will always be my favorite. It has a special place in my heart. Where the heck is Revelations? So for me, I think Revelations is definitely a close second to Assassin's Creed 3 because it just rounded out Ezio's story perfectly. And it came full circle and brought Altair back into things, and it was just a wonderful and beautiful ending to Ezio's story. I cried on that game. I did not cry in Assassin's Creed 3. So I would say Revelations, which is Ezio's third game, and Connor's game, which is Assassin's Creed 3, they're really, really close together. Black Flag is another amazing one. I actually would say that the pirate aspect and getting to control your ship and grow your crew and attack ships, while I hate it and I suck at it, I would say that one's a little bit funner than Brotherhood in terms of play. Like, I'm also, what is it called? I am judging these games based on how much fun I had playing them. So moving on, I've never played Unity. I have played Odyssey, and for me, it's good. The graphics are amazing. The game mechanics irritate me. I hated how you have to stalk and kill all of the guys and that they level with you, and it just you have to stop the storyline in order to hunt down these guys, and you can't continue until you hunt them down, and it's just a really stupid mentality. Valhalla is a bad game. I tried playing it. I hated it. I hate the mechanics. It's carrying on the bad mechanics from Odyssey, but the storyline did not hold up, and the character backstory was just really meh, so I haven't finished playing it, and I probably won't. Mirage, that's the Persian one I was trying to think of. That's the new one. My sister's played it. She actually kind of liked it. I haven't played it yet. Origins is okay game. It's just, I didn't really care for the storyline, honestly, so it's probably going to be like, nah, for me. It was okay, tragic, it was ancient Egypt, I love that aspect, but it still was just the new version of Assassin's Creed where they started to just branch away from everything, and it just doesn't work. Syndicate is another one that I haven't played. That's the other one I couldn't think of. Codename Jade, I don't know what that is. I don't know what Freedom City is and Liberation. I've never played those. So these are my Assassin's Creed ranking the games. Assassin's Creed 3, Revelations, Black Flag, and Brotherhood, and then are all GOAT. The best games in the franchise, and they need to get back to the game, to this kind of style of game, because these are the best. Assassin's Creed, Ezio's first game, very good. And then just good as Assassin's Creed Rogue and Odyssey. I would say Odyssey, I liked it better than Rogue. And then is okay, the first Assassin's Creed game, because it's the first, you can't just, it's not bad, it's just old. Assassin's Creed Origin was nah for me. Valhalla to me is very bad, and then because I've never finished it, I haven't finished it and I won't. And then the ones that I've not played is Unity, Mirage, Syndicate, Codename Jade, Freedom City, and Liberation. So with that in mind, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe for more writing and reading videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if you liked me ranking all of the Assassin's Creed characters and the Assassin's Creed games in this video, then check out my video where I ranked all of the fantasy characters that I could find from books. Check that out. I ranked all of the main fantasy characters that you could ever think of. It was a lot of fun. And please go buy Assassin and support me. Support the narrator, especially. He deserves Brandon J. Peterson. He deserves to be you know, paid for his work. And by the way, I did promise you guys a sneak peek, so here is a short scene from Assassin to music and with art from Lucas Santiago, narration by Brandon J. Peterson. Enjoy. Be sure to check out the other ranking video and Assassin, the audiobook, which I'll have a link in the description below.
My eyes found their way to her lips again. Just before I prepared to force myself to look away, a loud crashing noise thundered, and the balcony underneath us shook. "What was that?" she yelled. "Get inside." I pushed her back through the doors, just as the part of the balcony we had been standing on collapsed. Inside her room, the heat billowed all around us. I glanced around, trying to figure out what happened. On the ceiling beside the main doors, fire had spread and continued down the walls, and had almost reached the floors. The sound of wood splitting rang loud in my ears, and part of the ceiling crumbled down in front of the doors. She squealed, and I noticed the fire spreading along the floor. I pushed her back. "We can't go that way," she shouted. Sevlia coughed, and smoke flew into my nose and eyes. I had to think of a way to get us out of here quickly, or we would suffocate.